You asked that question to Chief of Police Oscar Perez about if something different had happened, if they didn't detain that first person, was there a chance that they could have caught Claudio Neves Valente earlier? I mean, you were in that press conference. What was the main theme you saw?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about that question sort of ever since we knew that they had a person of interest, and I was just wondering, I mean, because they felt like they wasted so much time in the beginning focusing on the other person who they ended up letting go, and the answer that they gave tonight was, oh, we don't think it would have made a difference. It would have still taken us more time to get to this suspect who we believe actually committed the crimes. But, you know, I agree with Leland to a certain point that, you know, the tone of the press conference I felt like was a little strange. First of all, they buried the lead. I mean, we had to listen to the mayor speak for what felt like forever, thanking everyone and sort of building this whole moment up for, oh, so long, on and on and on, until he finally announced that they had the guy and that he was dead. But obviously, I think there's relief in the community, Jesse. I mean, people have been so worked up here, as you can imagine, with this manhunt that's been ongoing. And obviously, I think that the family members of the victims would have liked to have seen some kind of justice, and now this guy is dead and took his own life. But at least I think there's definitely a sigh of relief in Providence right now.
And can you explain to the viewers who may be just tuning in, it seems, while this is an ongoing investigation and they're going to continue to do testing on the ballistics and DNA and forensics and trying to understand motive and, you know, issuing search warrants, this was about surveillance footage. This is about surveillance footage and a car that was able to track back. We learned a lot about that during the press conference, right? About how they were actually able to track him to this storage facility where he was dead.
Yeah, basically there's surveillance footage, not from the Brown campus, but from the neighborhood right there where they saw this man walking around. They also saw another man on the surveillance footage having an interaction with the suspect, a conversation. And they put out, you remember, they put out photos of that other person saying, look, this isn't a suspect, but we want to talk to this person. Come to find out, that guy is like a real hero. That's a big part of this story. It sounds like he's a homeless person who is a Brown graduate who may even like sleep in that engineering building at times and almost like looks after that building, and thought that this suspect was suspicious and saw that his car was there for several days, felt like something wasn't right, and had an interaction with him inside the bathroom of the engineering building, and was basically like, you need to get out of here, you don't belong here. And in the end, he was able to come to police and say, I had an interaction with this guy, and here's a bunch of information about him. And then they were able to look at the surveillance footage, trace it back to the car, which turned out to be a rental car. And then they went back to the rental car company, got the suspect's name. There was GPS on the rental car, it seems. Rental car turns up at this storage unit in New Hampshire. And they go out to the storage unit. There was a big SWAT scene earlier. Well, it turns out when they actually got inside, the suspect was dead. But that's essentially how they narrowed in on this guy. And now come to find out, he is also connected to the MIT shooting, the shooting of the professor at MIT who is who's Portuguese. This guy's Portuguese. Both studied physics, and those are kind of all the connections.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute. And by the way, sometimes it gets lost in all of this, the people who are killed in this. Ella Cook, Brown University, Mohammed Aziz Mirzokov, Brown University, and Professor Nuno F.G. Loureiro, again, this MIT professor. That was interesting. There were reports today, wait a minute, are we talking about the same suspect that's connected to both attacks, both killings, happened within a week? And this, what was fascinating about the Providence, Rhode Island press conference was, at first they didn't deny it. They didn't say, oh, there's no connection. They said, well, you know, there is something there. There's going to be a simultaneous press conference that's happening in Boston, Massachusetts, which we just covered. There is evidence that they have the suspect, that this suspect is dead, and this was the person responsible for both attacks.
There is, and forgive me because I didn't hear the full press conference from Massachusetts because I was still in the press conference here. But yeah, they are saying it's the same guy. They are both Portuguese. They went to school together, we found out, in Lisbon. Both studied physics, so they've known each other a long time. In terms of the exact motive, we don't seem to know why he wanted to go and kill this guy now and why he wanted to come to Brown and kill random students. That part still hasn't been flushed out.
No, 100%, and they won't even officially say, authorities in Massachusetts, that it was necessarily targeted. Clearly, they don't want to say something right now that they will have to backtrack. Completely understandable. But we're trying to make sense of this. Brian Entin, thank you very much. Great reporting on this and great questions during that presser as well.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.